Hi there, welcome to the latest episode of my 10-minute moan, and the topic of this 10-minute moan is a shock news. Kate Forbes is in the cabinet announcement. Before I go into the topic, if you want to sponsor, if you want to support the podcast in the channel, you can become a member or you can subscribe for free. But the easiest thing you can do is click that thumbs up button at the bottom of the screen. It does wonders for the reach. So, Kate Forbes, appointed First Minister. A lot of people were asking what price she demanded to stand down from the recent leadership race for the SNP, which John Swinney won uncontested. And today we all found out that price was to be the Deputy First Minister of Scotland. Most people were, it was quite clear when these moves were happening that she'd been promised something. Swinney then came out and said that she would have an important role in his government, and quelle surprise, she's the first Deputy First Minister. So I don't think anybody's surprised she's on the cabinet, but there's very few that have tipped her to be the First Minister. So I'll read a bit of the news circulating at the moment about the appointment, and I'll give my opinion to it after that. So the First Minister, John Swinney, had pledged that Ms Forbes, who chose not to run in the SNP leadership race, would play a significant part in his government. Kate Forbes has been appointed Deputy First Minister of Scotland as John Swinney continues selecting his cabinet. Mr Swinney was legally sworn in as Scotland's 7th First Minister at the Court of Sessions in Edinburgh earlier on today. Mr Swinney pledged that Ms Forbes, who chose not to run in the SNP leadership race, would play a significant part in his government. Ms Forbes, who served as Finance Secretary under Nicola Sturgeon, replaces Shona Robinson as second in command. Ms Robinson, who was also Finance Secretary under Humza Yousaf, will remain in Cabinet. Her role will be announced soon. Mr Swinney said he was pleased to appoint Ms Forbes as his deputy, describing her as an immensely talented politician. Ms Forbes, the MSP for Skye, Lochaber and Badenoch, said, "I'm deeply honoured to accept John's invitation to be his Deputy First Minister. This is a moment of extraordinary privilege for me. Having previously served in Cabinet, I know the duty that all ministers have to reflect the government's priorities and the missions that drive them." Interesting word I'll come back to. "I look forward to working with John and Cabinet colleagues, delivering for the people of Scotland and building a better country." Ms Forbes faced backlash over her religious beliefs during her leadership campaign to succeed Nicola Sturgeon. She went on to narrowly lose to Mr Yousaf. Although her views on social issues remain unpopular with some of her MSP colleagues, she was one of the few SNP ministers who did not delete her WhatsApp messages during the COVID pandemic. So, interesting quote there from her. Let me just go back and find it, where she says, "I know the duty that all ministers have to reflect the government's priorities." So one of two things is going to happen here. Either Miss Forbes is just going to turn into an SNP robot and toe the party line, or she's going to really upset the Greens, because her normal philosophies, way of thinking, things that she finds important, are totally at odds with the Scottish Greens. Let me remind you, the SNP are running a minority government. Their closest allies and the ones who, by abstaining from the First Minister vote, allowed John Swinney to win that particular vote. And that'll be their role going forward, as long as they're kept sweet by the SNP. If they decide they want to vote with the rest of the opposition, the SNP will not get anything through Parliament. They would then need to just call an election if it was just got to the point where it was obvious they were just going to get nothing through. And particularly a budget. The budget is the only thing they need to get through in a government. If they fail to get their budget through, that causes an automatic election. That's just part of the rules. So what happens next? As I say, it'll just be a question of, will Kate Forbes be conscientious enough to stick to her own principles, or, as she's already sort of suggesting here, by I know the duty that all ministers have to reflect the government's priorities. I kind of think she's gave the game away with that one comment. She's going to toe the party line. This will not play well. I mean, not that it matters to the SNP or their cult, but Forbes was seen by many non-SNP supporters, and in that bracket I include nationalists as well as unionists, because not all nationalists vote SNP, and certainly they seem to be leaving in their droves. But she was seen by many non-SNP cult as one of the very few, if not the only, normal politician in their party whose views were more central than anybody else in their party. I think those views are probably going to change by going by that statement, which I would suggest will be an indication of her actions going forward, that she's going to toe the party line. So what is the point? It looks to me as if it's just another one that's sold out. Took a bribe, don't stand for election as a leader, and we'll look after you, give you a wee sweetener of being the Deputy First Minister. Obviously back onto ministers' wages, so she's got a pay rise. And it looks to me as if the one sort of hope that party had of having anybody near normal in their midst has vanished with this announcement. Not so much the announcement. I thought the announcement was a bit brave when I heard the announcement, but not until I read her response to the announcement did I then get the feeling that Kate Forbes is no different. I have been quite complimentary towards her over the last 5 or 6 months, and I think that stops. In fact, I'm sure that stops. That stops right now with that one comment that I know the duty that all ministers have to reflect the government's priorities. She's just sold it. So, I mean, that's her, that's her own privilege. She can do whatever she wants as a politician, but she is certainly indicating today that she's going to toe the party line, which is disappointing because I didn't have her in the same low regard I have with almost every other, if not every other SNP, MSP that you can name. But that's went south. Not with her appointment, that could just be politics. But with this announcement of hers, her words after being appointed, that is just, you're no different for the rest of them now, Kate. So that's it. But at least one good thing's came to this. I can just have a severe dislike to every MSP, SNP MSP again, which is quite good, because a lot of people were like, oh, you don't say bad things about Kate Forbes. Well, I don't say bad things about anybody unless I have got good reason to. And you've now just gave me good reason to by knowing that the duty of all ministers have to reflect the government's priorities and the missions that drive them. You're a sellout, you're a cop-out, good luck. And I was someone who could probably have supported you if, as long as there was suggestions made to me in the last 48, 72 hours that you were possibly not going to be part of the SNP. I was asked my opinion on that, and I gave it. And nah, I was wrong. There you are. I was totally wrong about Kate Forbes. I gave her the benefit of the doubt. No anymore. So, if you enjoyed the video, give us a thumbs up. If you want to see more, subscribe and hit the notifications bell. And unless you are any of the SNP MSPs, including their cabinet as is forming today, and particularly your First Minister and your Deputy First Minister, everybody else, have a great day. Cheery bye now.